Hi, I'm Lynn. We're doing a cooking demo here today at the Friedman Diabetes Institute. Today I'm going to make quinoa chili. I'm going to just measure out about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. So here's 1 and here's 2. Now, even though olive oil is a heart-healthy type of oil, because it's still an oil, the portion size that you put in your food really matters. I grated some carrots and I diced up some onions. So here are carrots, and I'm going to add the onions. I'm not going to add any salt to this dish. The spices that we're adding is going to give the dish a lot of flavor. I'm just going to give a little bit of pepper in here right now. A lot of times when you talk about cooking, everyone thinks just salt and pepper are used for spices, but there's so many more different ways to flavor your food without adding spices. So the other thing that I'm going to add is tomato paste. This is about a tablespoon. I'm going to plop it right in here. And I'm gonna add another one. I really like the flavor that this gives off. And then our garlic is right here. So I'm gonna the easy way to get this off is just sort of scraping it down like that, okay? And then I'm gonna scrape my fingers too, just to get the garlic in there. I'm just gonna give this a nice little stir to make sure that it hits all of the carrots and the onions. And I'm gonna let this part saute just for a little bit. I got a red pepper and a yellow pepper and an orange pepper. If you have green pepper at home, you can use that. I'm also adding some green zucchini and some yellow squash or some yellow zucchini. I like the color of it. It goes really nice with the red, gives it more flavor too, but really whatever you have on hand. If it's just 2 peppers, add those 2 peppers. Really just cut them into strips, and then I'm gonna give each part a different chop. I'm going to add this in. Okay. I'm also going to add the yellow zucchini. And then over here is the red and the yellow one. So we're adding that. And again, you can see I like to eat with a lot of colors. You know, the more variety you get with your vegetables, the more fun eating can really be, and it makes the dish really pretty. I got these really nice, good-looking tomatoes. This pulls out a little bit, like that, and I'm gonna cut part of that, cut this. And I really can't stress enough that this doesn't have to be perfect. A lot of times, I'm gonna say it again, cooking doesn't have to be that intimidating. You don't have to cut this perfectly. The important thing is that you're cooking. The canned beans, what I'm going to do, whenever you're cooking with anything canned, there tends to be a lot of sodium in there. So what I'm going to do is just take this can of black beans, I'm going to put it in a colander, just like this. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to rinse the black beans. We want to get rid of, again, we want to get rid of some of that sodium. So you can see it was pretty thick and it was pretty brown before. All of that is just extra sodium or salt that you don't really need. And again, we're adding some more spices that's going to really flavor this chili, but you don't need all that sodium. And I'm also going to, I want to keep some of the juice from, there's not a lot of liquid in here, and I'll show you guys at the can. This is lower in sodium. If I'm looking on here, a quick trick for the sodium is if you look at the percentage, 5% or less is considered low for sodium, 20% or more is considered high. This is 7%, which is pretty low, so that's why I picked it up. I'm just going to add this right in. So what I have over here is a mixture of paprika, chili powder, and cayenne pepper. Now with spices, I know everybody, sometimes you don't like things spicy, sometimes you really like a lot of spice. This is it's a moderate amount, and you can always add extra spice to your food once it's done. I have some red pepper flakes that you can put on top of your own dish, but this is just a mixture. There's also a little bit of cumin in here, and all of this is going to give this chili the flavor that it needs. So I mixed all the spices together, and I'm going to put this right in here, just like that. Okay, so we got our spices. And again, I'm just going to give this a good stir so every part of these vegetables are all flavored. So the last part of the dish is really the name of the dish, and that's quinoa. I really like quinoa. It has a little bit better nutrition than, let's say, rice. It's a grain, and it's a whole grain, and the thing that I like about it the most is, yes, it is a carbohydrate, meaning that it does have an effect on blood sugar, but this one's a better one because it has more protein and more fiber. Anytime you're having some whole grains or a grain that has more protein and fiber, it prevents your blood sugar from going way up. So again, making a chili like this with quinoa instead of rice or, let's say, corn, this one's the better call. Measure out a half a cup of the quinoa. Now, I'm not adding chicken stock or vegetable stock. Again, that has more sodium, and I'm just going to use water, and it's still going to be flavored really well with all the other spices. And what I did is I cranked up the stove to high heat. What I'm going to do is bring this to a boil, and then we're going to let it simmer for about 20 or 30 minutes. Once it's done simmering, it's ready to go. So thanks for joining me today. I hope that you took away some tips that cooking really doesn't have to be that difficult, especially with this, just chopping some vegetables, letting them saute and simmer, adding some spices, laying off the salt, and just enjoying it and getting your veggies in. So thanks.